The 10th step of the spiritual path is Samadhi Abhyasa. Deeper meditation, deeper contemplation. One of my other favorites, Viktor Frankl, who was a survivor in the Germany concentration camp, he said, meditation is about a survivor in a concentration camp. The kind of things that were done to him, he could have just died. People who got lesser tortured have died. But he survived. You know why he survived? In his own words, because he was able to delineate, detach himself from the body, mind, and intellect. The pain was being meted out to his body, mind, and intellect, essentially to his body. But he detached himself from it. And that then enabled him to think about and say that meditation is about accepting the challenge to change ourselves and transforming our habits of interpretation. By learning to understand and focus on what is real and go beyond our conditioned view of reality and experience the subtler truths of our existence. In this process, we become more connected to what really is. What a beautiful quotation. Any remaining impurity, any remaining kama, krodha, lobha, mada, matsarya, any of those that are remaining, they are completely removed. While doing karma yoga, a lot of this gets removed, but some may remain. And even if those are remain in samadhi abhyasa, it is completely eradicated. And samadhi abhyasa then leads to ashubha vasana nivriti, which means removal of negative tendencies, and shubha vasana prapti, which is gaining of positive tendencies. The next step then is Vidvat Sanyasa. We talked about Vividisha Sanyasa. This is Vidvat Sanyasa. Vidvat is a person who already knows, means a knower. The renunciation of the knower is Vidvat Sanyasa. Immersion after knowing. Sanyasa is focus, letting go, absorption. One of my favorite examples is Sri Ramana Maharishi, a Mahatma. You know, he had this aparoksha jnana, direct experience of the Brahman. And oftentimes when he was either teaching or giving lectures, he used to relapse into his direct experience, the memory of that direct experience. And his mind will go deep into what he has experienced himself. And in those states, he suddenly disconnects with the audience. And either the words stop coming out, he becomes completely silent, or sometimes he's saying something which is not understood by the people who are there. May be connected, may not be connected, but definitely not understood. And then he comes back after a few minutes and then continues as if nothing had happened. That kind of immersion, that is Brahmanubhuti, Anubhuti of the Brahman that you have experienced. And when that Brahmanubhuti happens, then what happens is, it leads to Vasana Nivriti, or complete purgation of the tendencies. The next step is Jivan Mukti, which is liberation while living. And that Jivan Mukti, while you are living, if you are liberated, what does it mean? That means that you are connected to the inner divinity. Like we had talked about in one of the first initial sessions, every creation is divine in the inside. Deep inside, there is divinity. Deep inside, there is happiness. So we don't have to go out seeking happiness outside. We have to search inside and find it. That inner exploration, that is what is the finding the self, discovering the self. And that Jivan Mukta, he has or she has attained Paramah Purushartha, which is the original goal or the ultimate goal of all human beings, attaining that deep happiness that touches the core and everlasting, long-lasting happiness that can remain forever. Whatever actions we do for that, to become happy. And that Jivan Mukta has got it, has attained it. The Jivan Mukta is described in various ways by our scriptures. One of them is Sthita Prajna. We talked a lot about the Sthita Prajna in chapter 2, a person of steady wisdom. The other person Jivan Mukta is referred to as Bhagavad Bhakta, devotee of the Supreme Lord. We'll come to that, chapter 12 onwards. Then also referred to as Guna Atita, which means someone who is beyond the three gunas. Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavadana. Someone who is Nistraigunya, that person, beyond the three gunas. And also referred to as Brahmana. We talked about it earlier. One who has realized the self. In fact, in some context, even the seeker is also referred to as Brahmana. The next step is Brahma Nirvana or Yogam, which Bhagavan talks about in chapter 2 also. True identification, realization. This person is in this state of ultimate, pure, long-lasting, deep happiness as long as the body remains. And once the body perishes, the person attains Videha Mukti. Videha Mukti means is liberated from procuring another body. This may be difficult for some of us to understand, some of us to believe or agree with. In which case we can stop at Jivan Mukti, which of course we all relate to because all of us are pursuing that ultimate happiness. But if we believe and if we understand the concept of continued life, then Videha Mukti is the ultimate state, the end of this pursuit of the spiritual path. The culmination of the spiritual path is Videha Mukti.